This is Leith Anderson again with Bobby Grace, and so we have a story that's really an important story, probably the most important story that Bobby Grace Putters has, going back 25 years at this point, was insert technology. So you started with the Fat Lady Swings, which was made out of the super soft aluminum, and then from that point, the evolution of how you changed that technology, how you found the new materials, how you found the new shapes of them, and what inspired you. Of course, it's interesting to see that this was a competitive landscape going, from year to year, and some new ideas came out, and you went to school on them and bettered them. So this is really where the most important part of the Bobby Grace story is what's going on with insert technology. So we're going to have Bobby lead you through that.
This is Bobby Grace, and I'm going to try to go through our trek to improve our insert material, not only from a field perspective, but to the perfect roll that we eventually ended up with. As Leith was saying, I'm going to give a couple of credits to guys in the industry that inspired us, because pretty much they were doing things better than anybody when it came to an early roll. And I'll get to that in just a minute. But first of all, let me talk about feel. Feel was something that when I got into putter business, the people asked me in the media, what is your philosophy? And I always came back with the three most important things to me: function, feel, and roll. Well, function, feel, and roll covers the whole gamut of putters. Feel is really amazing. The Fat Lady putter, we made it out of 356 sand cast aluminum. That is the softest metal you could put into a putter. You couldn't make it very pretty because it was so full of air and porosities that you couldn't put a good finish on it except the powder coat, which I never liked. But this thing feels so good, it's amazing. So I actually allowed the putter to not look so beautiful because it felt and rolled the ball great. So that was one of the things. I think function and feel has to be way up here. Aesthetics is way down on the bottom of the list, as you'll see from my past putters. Even my present putters now finally have some good looks. Well, through the years, we went to the 6061 aircraft aluminum after we left the Fat Lady. That's a harder, much harder aluminum. And at that time, when we were machining all of our mallets out of 6061, the golf balls were getting harder because they wanted to try to hit it farther. Well, the two got to work together where it was, the feel was way too hard. And we don't like a hard feel, a hard click, a hard sound. So we were cutting up every type of material to try to figure out what is this next magical material that we can get to where it has a great feel and a great roll. Well, we were signed up with Nick Price, and he was with Precept, and he had some of our Precept golf balls in our shop. One of the guys starts slicing up this Precept golf ball. It had a pink core, and the core he chops up and pieces it together and glues it in the face of the putter and mills it off, and we all went out and tried it, and we went, oh my gosh, what is that? Well, we find out it's polybutadiene. Polybutadiene is golf ball core material, and what they can do is you can manipulate the hardness and the rebound, which is interesting. So you can change the feel and the amount of energy that comes off that face. Well, when I discovered that, we ended up getting with Larry Cadorniga, who was one of the best golf ball chemical engineers in the world. And he had patents on golf balls from the 70s. He had patents on, he created the Wilson Staff from the 70s. He created the Pinnacle for Titleist, the Low Trajectory for Titleist. He created the MaxFly HT for MaxFly. He was just hired by everybody. He was brilliant. Well, he helped us figure out what we ended up calling hole-seeking material, HSM. That's a whole nother story. But this stuff here was our first 1996 rendition of polybutadiene. Now, as you see how thick it is, it had a particular hardness and a particular rebound that was perfect. We had analyzed it on putting robots to see how far it would throw it. And the interesting thing is, if you off-hit it just a little bit off-center, it took vibration out. So you wouldn't really have a terrible feel on any of your putts, and the roll would be good because of the rebound would throw it quite a bit. So that's the first rendition, 1996, 1997. we sold to Cobra Golf, Fortune Brands, in '97, and we went to the gold color, and we actually have a patent on putting Cobra in the name, which is pretty cool. What they did was we two-pieced it together, and when you put it in the face and then you milled it off and had the black show up, Cobra would show up in the face. And both of this stuff is made out of polybutadiene. Really neat. Okay, so that was 97, 98, 99, and by the way, with this material, we took over the Champions Tour in 4 months from 0 to #1 position, and we still hold a world record on the tour with any finish of any putter company at any tour event. We had 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place at one tour event in Sarasota in 1998. Nobody's ever done 1 through 10 before on the tour, any tours. Okay, so that was this material. We've kept the same makeup. When I bought the company back, I got the company back in 2000, and from 2001, 2, and 3, we changed it to burgundy, but really, it was the same material as the 96. Had the same rebound, same hardness, same feel. It was fabulous. It really worked great. We put it in a high inertia putter called the Amazing Grace MOI, and it had a widened sweet spot, so it didn't lose any energy, but this material is really, really good. And then we sold to McGregor Golf in 2004. We changed it to gray on the tour. We won $60 million of prize money on the PGA Tour with the likes of Bart Bryant, Fred Funk, Vijay Singh. All these guys were using this HSM material, golf ball core. Then we invented, let's see here. This here is our current radial face. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute, but the grooves were getting popular. In about 2004 and 5, when I was with McGregor, we had this technology that we put the multiple rebounds, higher rebounds out on the poles, so if you mishit the putt, it would fire it farther and get it to the same distance as the sweet spot would. Because you lose so much energy out here, you had to have a return of energy. So we had this technology, which was very significant. Well, yes, putters had the rainbow, I call, shaped grooves, and let's see, Retief won the Open at Shinnecock with it. They had some great success. That was Harold Schwash over in England, and they rolled the ball early. We were really studying that, and it pretty much was frustrating us for 2 or 3 years. And then Rife putters came out with those grooves that rolled the ball well, and he had this roll board that showed how well it rolled. That sent us back to the drawing board. We had to figure out how to roll the ball earlier. So we knew we had the feel. We knew we had the function. It really, really worked good. Now we figured out that when we were studying, let's see, we took the teardrop idea that you all have heard about, the real severe radius, and we remembered, or I remembered on the tour, when Rudy Slucker bought Lynx Company had Freddie Couples as a staff player. Well, Freddie came along with that purchase. And if you remember, that changed from a Lynx staff bag to a teardrop and Lynx staff bag. And Freddie wouldn't putt with that real rounded thing, because what happened was the real rounded face would drive it into the ground, it would shoot it up in the air, it would maybe hit it perfect, 4 out of 10 times. It was inconsistent, and Freddie knew it. Freddie said, I want you to subtleize that radial face. Give me something that you can call a roll face, but don't give me that severe thing. Well, that stuck in my brain. 2 months later, that whole company of Teardrop went out of business, and that we all forgot about it after about 8 or 9 years. Well, when I went back to the drawing board with my engineers trying to figure out something to roll the ball earlier with, that's what we did. We furthered their technology to change the size of the radius, the position of the center of the radius. We perfected that amount of geometry to make contact with the top half of the golf ball and roll it instantly, and I mean right when it's hit. So this insert here is actually molded with a 10-inch radius, and it actually has a center in a position to where it catches the top half of the ball. Now if you take a look, you'll see right here is the original Fat Lady putter with 5 degrees loft. Okay, that doesn't move at all when you hit it because it's a flat face. Well, This one's one of our newer designs. It's got the radial face. It doesn't show much of a curve. You can't even see it. People even say, well, I don't see that. Well, watch this. That is what happens when you put the right geometry on it. It has the right subtle look, and it rolls the ball instantly. There's a software out there called Quintic, and Quintic actually measures how early the ball goes. The guys that sell the software tell the people that are fitting putters, if you don't have Bobby Gray's putters, you need to have Bobby Gray's putters because they roll the ball earlier than anything else. So we finally found the feel, the function, and the roll. And that's what you get for 2019.